nice from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok Zatzal, and Parshas Bereshis. We start the Torah all over. This week's Parsha, we have the famous story of the Chet Eitzadas, how the Nochosh, the serpent, wanted to and convinced Chava and Odom to eat from the forbidden tree, from the Eitzadas, Teivara, which the Eibishter said that they should not eat. And over there it says that they felt naked. And the Eibishter says, Hamin ha'etz asher tzivisiche. Is it possible because of the tree that I told you not to eat, that's how you feel? The Gemara in Chulin, the Kuf Lamed Testament base, says in this pasuk, it says Hamin ha'etz, Hey Mem Nun, Hamin ha'etz, is hinted Homon Menat Torah. Where do we have a remez on the Homon in the Torah? Everything is hinted in the Torah. And the letters Hey Mem Nun, there's no vowels in the Torah, so you could read Homon Hey Mem Nun. And Rabbi Levi Yitzchok expounds that what's the connection over here with Homon with the Chet Eitzadas? And he says, if you look deep, you will see there are 4 comparisons between what happened with this sin and with the story of Haman, Achashverosh, and the greatness through Mordechai and Esther. First, the Eibishter says by the Chet Eitzadas, by this, if you can eat from this tree, mois yumas, the whole concept of death will come into the world if you will transgress and eat from this forbidden fruit. Similar, Haman wanted to kill out all the Yidden. Noshim, Vataf, the entire Jewish nation. He wanted to laharig, to kill and to destroy and to erase, God forbid. That's the first connection, Misa and Misa. Number 2, here it was a tree, Eitzadas. Over there also, Haman wanted to hang Mordechai on the eitz, on the tree, on a big gallows made out of wood, out of eitz, chamisha mama. So we see also eitz and eitz. Number 3, there is a medrash. The medrash says in Perek Tezvov, this week's Parsha Tezvov, in Piskei Zayin, that what was this forbidden fruit? What kind of tree was it? And one man, the Omer, says it was Eshkoil Shel Anovim, a cluster of grapes. It was a grapevine. And the Nochash gave Chava a Eshkoil Shel Anovim, a cluster of grapes, which is made from wine. Similar also we find in the Megillah that Haman and the Melech, Yoshvu Lishtois, they sat down to drink wine together and to plan the destruction of the Jewish people. So here, the sin came through grapes anovim, which is, from that comes out yayin, and over there, the gzeira, the decree came also out of wine. And number 4, here it came through a nochash, a snake, a serpent, and the medrash all over, many places, says Haman was compared to a snake. In this week's Parsha alone, Parshas Bereshis, brings down the Rebbe's father many places. We find a medrash in Parsha Tezayin Dalet. It describes over there, it says in the beginning of the Parsha, that there were 4 rivers coming out of Gan Eden. The first one was called Pishoin, and the second one was called Gichoin, Chidekel, and further. And the Mishnah says that the Medrash says that these 4 rivers correspond to the 4 exiles. It's known once the Yidden came out of Mitzrayim, went into Israel, then the Jews had 4 exiles. The first one was Bovel. The Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the first Beis Hamikdash. That was the exile to Bovel that lasted for 52 years. And then we had the next 18 years was Golus Modai or Porras. And then during the second Beis Hamikdash, we had the Golus from Yavon, and the final Golus, which we are now, is called Golus Edom, which is Roimi, Rome. So the first 2 was Pishoin, that's Bovel. Second one, Modai. And what's that called? Shemanoi Gichoin. And the Medrash explains why is the word Gichoin compared to Modai. And it says because Modai is the Nachash that goes on Haman. And in our Parsha it says, Al Gechoin chotelech, on your belly you will crawl. So Gechoincha is the same root, same etymology to tell you that Nachash is Haman. Just like a Nachash curls himself around and suffocates a person, same thing also this Nachash curled himself around Achashverosh to force him to do what he wants. And he fell into his trap. So many hints in Medrash, in Gemara, that Haman is compared to a Nachash. So here we see there are 4 things that the story of Chet Tzadas compares to the story of Megillah. Number 1, here's Misa, over there was Misa. Here was a Eitz, there was a Eitz. Here, Chet Tzadas, there was Eshko Shel Novim, wine, there also wine. And here was to a Nachash, and over there was to a Haman, Harasha was the Nachash. So we see that when the Gemara compares this Haman to Hamina Eitz, it's not just a play on words. It has a very deep connection that this was the same type of Gezerah. Gezerah's Haman is the source from this same Nachash HaKadmoini, as it says in Meforshim. The Rebbe talks about it. These want to look up in Kutasichas Chelik Vov, Daf, page 105. The Rebbe also explains how the Nachash and Amalek are all one connected to this Nachash HaKadmoini, the first Nachash in the world. Just to conclude, the Rebbe's father says that the whole idea from the Chet Tzadas, as we know, and also from Haman, is that from the negativity, from the concealment, we should overcome it to Torah mitzvahs, and ultimately the bad will transform into good. And this is hinted in this word, Hamin, Haman, Hey Mem Nun, a very interesting thing. That from this Haman came out the Ness of Purim. And it's famous, the Mishnah, the first Mishnah, Masechta Megillah, all children learned in school, one of the first Mishnayos. The Mishnah starts off that there are 5 days where the Chachama made a takana that you could read the Megillah. Nowadays, we only read it in Yud Daled and Tezvov, 14th and the 15th day of Adar, but in the olden days, the time of the Mishnah, they allowed it also on Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, and Yud Gimel. And nowadays, later on, it was cut out, as the Gemara explains. We won't go into all the details. But there were 5 days that the Megillah was read, Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Yud Aleph, Tezvov. So says the Rebbe's father, Haman is a Rosh Tevis. Hey, going on 5 days, Mem Nun Megillah Nekras. Hey, Megillah Nekras, Rosh Tevis Haman, that from him came out the great miracle of Purim and Megillah Esther, the Ness of Purim. And this is all the connection from the negativity will come out the Yeshua. Ultimately, all the bad will transform into good. May it happen speedily nowadays also with the whole story of the Chet Tzadas, which will be corrected. The Mashiach will come, as the Rebbe explains in the Sikha over there, and many Sikhas. So this is the beautiful thing of the connection of the why, the source, Chet Tzadas. Haman is there to tell you he's all connected in all these, in all the theme of that Avera, what it caused and what was involved is also the same thing as the whole story of Purim.